What is going on, yo? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button. Smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And it's a talk show. So what does that mean? At any point during the show, you can call in 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into whatever you want, whatever's on your mind, whatever happened over the weekend, the topic at hand, the Grammys, whatever it is, we can get into it. You know what I mean? And keep in mind, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Punchy.tv every Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So you can tune in from any of those platforms and check out JFTV. Okay? Make sure you tell your peoples about that. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments there. I'll read them live and on air. All right? Amazing stuff. What's today? Today's Monday. What's that mean? Grace and Mercy Monday. Grace and mercy. That means we getting into that church talk. We getting into that word. And some news stuff. Gotta get some news. I gotta give you guys a little news. Right? Gotta start off the show with a little news. And then we get into that talk. All right? So, as you guys know, the Grammys was yesterday. The Grammys. How I not comment on the Grammys? I gotta comment on the Grammys. I'm black. Gotta comment on the Grammys. I'm cultured. And what I want to get to, a lot of things happen at the Grammys. So many things, too many things to cover, right? As always, Grammys never fails to disappoint your entertainment, whether it be in a good way or a crazy way or a degenerate way. However way, they always seem to entertain. So one of the things that I wanted to get into is Mr. Kanye West and Bianca Censori's viral red carpet moment. Oh, we're going to get into that just to start off. It's a little something light. And it's actually going to lead right into my topic for today. Oh, it's going to just transition right into it. So let's get into that. Kanye West, you guys all know who Kanye West is. Kanye West is a many things. He is a musician first and foremost. He's also a fashion designer, and not necessarily designing clothes, but more a stylist, a fashion stylist. Very popular, very well known. Has a major influence into the hip hop culture and culture in itself. And a lot of people know who he is. But he's also known for his boisterous type attitude. He's also known for his controversial takes on politics and religion. He's a Trump supporter. He also calls himself a Christian. He was once married to Kim Kardashian. Now he's married to Bianca Censori. So, yeah, he's always kind of in the news about something. He's good at that. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. Also a billionaire. So we know Kanye for a lot of things. Well, Grammys was yesterday, and Kanye had his wife up on the red carpet doing something a little, well, I guess it's Kanye fashion, right? It's almost not surprising that he would do this, but it's still interesting to see. And I have some comments about that. So this is from ABS-CBN News. Kanye West's wife, Bianca Censori, turns heads with viral red carpet outfit reveal. Here we go. Oh, wait. Before we do that, let me do cam. Boom. I predict full. Boom. Super source. Bow. Go. Turns around. Oh! She ain't got nothing on. Oh! She naked. Her outfit is no outfit. Bianca Unsensori. And kind of standing there like, yeah, that's my girl. That's my wife. Yeah. Y'all get these pictures now. Just naked. Whoa. It's getting crazy. So that's Bianca Censori. That's Kanye West's wife. So he had her go out with this reveal. So she took off her big fur jacket. And she's not in, well, how do you describe? She's wearing a, like that type of like sock material. Like that, not net, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. But it's very thin and it's see-through. So she's wearing that. And not necessarily just flat out naked. But it's see-through and you can't even tell it's there, so she's pretty much flat out naked. You know? But she did that. That was the stunt of the night. And a couple things. Crazy. Is it crazy? Sure. Is it trashy? Maybe. Is it wrong? Ha ha. That's the question. Is it wrong? If so, what's wrong about it, right? I'm not on either side with it, to be honest, right? But I do want to give you guys a little perspective and how it ties into my message today. Because Kanye West is Kanye West. Kanye West has always been Kanye West. Kanye West says he's a Christian. Do I believe him if he says that? Why not? I think he says a lot of good things. I think that he means well about his belief. He does wild things sometimes. He is very loud about the wild things. He's not very private about his vices. He's very open about it. So it does come off as like a little bit unnecessary. But do I doubt him as a Christian? Why would I? How would I? I don't know his life, right? So, but I like Kanye. I always have. And I think that he's an honest guy, right? Everybody got their issues. He got his. But I want to bring some perspective to this, because easily you look at this and you see, I thought Kanye was a Christian. I thought that he was supposed to be on the side of doing right. Why has he got his girl out there naked? Why is she all these things are very true things to think about, right? That makes sense. I'm with you. Why? Well, I want to talk about this. Is I realize that a lot of Christians are only righteous or appear to be righteous out of fear, right? It's this false obedience that Christians carry, right? And I did this for a long time, not even knowing I was doing this, right? It's this fear. It's not that they truly are good or truly are trying to do the right thing. They just have fear of doing the wrong thing. And what that really is guilt, right? They've been judging their circumstances their whole life, right? Because we're all taught to judge, right? Our parents encourage us to judge unconsciously, right? So we're always constantly looking at ourselves as bad, or looking at other people as bad, or looking at ourselves as good and bad, right? Comparing and all these things, right? So when people want to get their life right, they, want to be good. Then most Christians, what they do is they start acting good, right? Not all the time. Sometimes people have a genuine pursuit, right? Sometimes people are genuine, but a lot of times people just don't want to be on the other end of the consequences. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to go to hell, right? They don't want to be told that they're a bad person. They don't want to look at themselves in the mirror as bad people. So they posture and they walk a certain way and they do good deeds and they show themselves approved, right? And they study, not because they genuinely want to be a better Christian, right? Sometimes that could be the case. But oftentimes it's just because they're afraid. What will happen? What are the consequences? I say that to say is that Kanye West is not one of those people to me. He is not one of those people that does things out of fear of the consequence, right? That doesn't make him less of a Christian, though. That just makes him more honest, right? And I'm not saying that he's honest in every area of his life or whatever the case is. I don't know him like that. But I always respected that he does what he wants to do. And he's honest about it. In the music, in the way he goes about things. He's just honest, right? And in honesty doesn't mean like that's the right thing to do, right? I'm not saying that going to the Grammys and doing this is like, he's righteous because he's honest about it. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that he's not one of those Christians that is trying to behave properly for the sake of his salvation. That's probably the worst thing you can do, is be blinded by your false sense of righteousness, right? Because all that does at the end of the day is point back to yourself as you're only doing it to save your butt. Oh, I could say butt. To save yourself, right? To keep yourself from going to hell. Not to be of service, not to truly be a child of God, but to not be in trouble, right? And that's not a false pursuit. And also what that does is that keeps you in bondage. That keeps you in prison. That keeps you struggling. It keeps you judging yourself. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense here? And what I realized is that being obedience to God or to what's right, is not a godly person. Obedience in fear is not a godly person. One, in my opinion, is to live freely, right? To live freely with the intent to learn, right? This is my opinion. And what does that mean? Living freely with the intent to learn. What does that mean? Is that you be free, but with an innocence, right? That you keep a heart that is humble and honest. Why? Because it says in the Bible to be childlike. It's Grace and Mercy Monday, so we're getting into that word. right? What's childlike? What does that mean? Well, when you think of a child, what do you think? What does a child do, right? They do whatever they want. They ain't got no intention of trying to be a good person. They ain't got no plan on trying to be a bad person. Children are just exploring, right? And they're doing everything. They're doing all the things that they shouldn't be doing. They're just doing everything, right? Trying things, touching things. You know what I mean? Jumping off the couch. No concern about nothing, right? But they're completely free. But what keeps them in right standing with God, right? It's because they're innocent when they're going about it, right? They're innocent when they're going about it. They're learning on the way, right? There's no ego and there's no arrogance involved in their freedom of trying things. You know what I mean? They're just being free. And us as adults have lost that. We lost that, right? We don't be free and just live and make mistakes and try things and do things and learn from them. We judge everything, right? We just judge. That's wrong. That's right. That's bad. That's good. And all that's doing is creating conflict within ourselves. We're not just being free. It's okay, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the heart, salvation of the heart. So if you keep your heart pure, right? If you just stay innocent in heart, innocent in nature, meaning that well-intentioned, right? Meaning well and honesty, staying honest in nature, then you're already free. There is no ties. There is no right and wrong of what you can and can't do, right? Because you're protected, that innocence is protecting you from the mess, right? The attachments. But we got guilt, we got shame, we got fear, and we pretend to be this Christian that's walking this straight and narrow path, but we got mess that we're in denial about. That's not righteousness. That's not upstanding. That's denial. And I realized this last thing, and I got some more mess. Oh, we got some more mess to get into. Is that like Jesus, when Jesus was here, he invited the sinners, like Kanye, right? I'm not calling Kanye a sinner. Or like myself, right? He invited the people who are not in denial about it, but who are honest, right? That's who he invited, right? That's why the people who were sitting at the table, the disciples, everybody around were like, what is wrong with Jesus? Can't be of God if he's sitting around with these sinners, right? The tax collector, the former harlot, which is like the adulteress, right? The woman, the all these like quote unquote sinners at the time. He was sitting with them, not because they did all these bad things, but because their heart was in the right place, right? They were honest, they were humble, right? They were well-meaning people, just lost in their own mess, but they weren't in denial about being lost. They knew they were lost, meaning they knew that they weren't walking the right way. They knew these things. So Jesus went to those humble in heart, not based off of their deeds. But Jesus invited the sinners, but Jesus rebuked the pretenders, right? The imitators, The ones who got it all together physically and look like they got it all perfect. Doing the good deeds, sowing the good seeds. You know what I mean? Doing all these things. Dressing the right way. Saying the right words. Right? And yet, far from God as it gets. Right? As far as it gets. He rebuked those people. Right? God doesn't look at what the eyes see. He sees deeper. So, do I necessarily agree with Kanye going up there and having his wife stripped down on the red carpet in the name of art, right? Because it's really in the name of like art and stuff. Like, do I agree? Not necessarily. I wouldn't do it. But I'm not here calling it wrong either, right? Because I also see somebody who is not controlled by society and what you should and shouldn't do and what this and this and that. Yes, you should, and the reason why I do disagree is because you should conduct yourself in public a specific type of way, but I still don't see it as wrong. I still see at the heart of it, Kanye West has never tried to act like no Christian. He ain't never tried to act like he was the just perfect person. He always been real. You know what I mean? Coloring outside the line sometimes, maybe. For sure. But don't we all kind of color outside the lines sometimes? You know what I mean? So, I'd rather that type of Christian. I'd rather a free Christian. You could trust a free Christian. The ones that are hiding, deceptive, denial, the ones that aren't open, the ones that don't reveal anything, are the ones that are hard to trust, because they're so mysterious. They're so, you don't understand what they're thinking. You don't understand what they're hiding, and it looks like it's Christian, but it's really they're hiding. It's really hiding, and I've done that before too. Right? I've done that before too. But it's really just fear of judgment, fear of opinions, fear of being exposed. So, doesn't mean now go out in the world and spill all your business. Doesn't mean that either. But honesty is who God loves to reveal new things to, the honest person. So that's what I want to say about that. Interesting stuff. Other than other news in the Grammys, I mean, it's just the regular stuff. You know what I mean? Beyonce won Best Country Album of the Year, right? Didn't even know Beyonce made country music. I think she made one country album, but she somehow got Country Album of the Year. That's interesting to me. Didn't hear the album, so I can't say if the album's good or not. But there's people in country music who, have been making country music for years and years and years and years. And these are people who, country is what they do, is their genre of music, and they just automatically are just. So that was kind of interesting to me. But the Grammys is known for being kind of weird. You know what I mean? And also Kanye this could also be like a middle finger in a sense to the Grammys, Kanye doing this as well, right? Like, because it's never really treated the artist or the voting system never really been fair or honest. It's just kind of like a show. So, and then you have Kendrick Lamar won a few Grammys for that "Not Like Us" song. And I don't necessarily think he was undeserving of it, but the "Not Like Us" song wasn't that good. This is my opinion. I love Kendrick Lamar though. Love Kendrick Lamar. Probably one of my favorites. Cause he's a very honest guy too. As honest as he can be. He be in a little black stuff too sometimes. But he's an honest guy. And I really like him for that. But if I'm being honest, Not Like Us ain't even that good. Ain't even that great. And for the haters, Drake won that little feud back and forth. But I understand why Kendrick needs the position right now. So there's that. He won that. And oh my God. And then the Will Smith children, Lord have mercy, they were looking a mess. I had a picture, but I didn't know if I was going to get to that today. But yeah, you know how people be dressing up at the Grammys and it's like I don't know what it is. Like a exhibit. That's what it be looking like. So that was interesting too. But let me check some super chats real quick and then I have some other stuff we can get to. Let me see. Let's get to these super chats real quick. Lin Yan Chin says, you know I black and you black, so why I didn't give any super chats to... Oh, why I didn't give all super chats to you instead of Lord Good Hair and Sparkle Blouse? That's American Anchor, baby. I repent. Gonna put you in my will if I get rich. Prance as Christ pranced on water. Right on, Lynn. Yeah, make sure you spell my name right, brother. Appreciate that, Lynn. Linnea says, sit back so your lower back gets support and your head floats over the repositioned center of gravity. No more slouching. Listen to your body. Okay, bet, Lynn. Bet. I got you. Right here. I'm ready. I'm back on it. Thank you, Lynn. Angman Art, sin is required to uphold a bad relationship. Sin is required to uphold a bad relationship. I don't quite know what you mean by that, sir. Sin is required to uphold a bad relationship, to keep a bad relationship going. Sin. I don't really know what you mean by that, man. But thanks for the super chat. Linian Chin goes on to say, con artist, yay. So Kanye West, letting her flash her blank blank in public indicates he is in a lesbian relationship. There is no man in that relationship. Ooh. Yeah, I didn't say that was Lynn. Lynn said you in a lesbian relationship. That you the girl and your wife the girl too, and you guys both girls. I didn't say it. Lynn said it. I didn't say that, Kanye. Come on the JFTV show for an interview. Because I didn't say that. That was Lynn. Appreciate it though, Lynn, for the super chat. Kale says, Joel, what do you think Jesus meant when he said, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect? Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's a good question, Kale. I have to think about it. Nothing right now comes to mind to where I can get into that. But that's interesting. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. I'm not sure, Lynn. Kale, I gotta think about that one. And I'll come back to you. It's a good question. Let's see here. Because what is perfection? What does perfection mean? What actually is it? Right? Some say awareness is perfection, right? You being aware. You making a mistake, but awareness of your mistake is perfection. Some people say that. Some people say perfection means you've overcome all things, right? You no longer stub your toe. Some people say that's perfection. So it's hard to tell, and I'm not quite sure. So I have to think about that one. Chris with the super chat sends a mug. Appreciate that, Chris. With the super sticker. Thank you. But Kale also doesn't believe. Kale thinks that human beings know right and wrong. I've seen Kale talk about it. Kale thinks that human beings know right and wrong. I happen to take the stance as human beings don't know right or wrong. And when we accept that we don't know right or wrong, we can be more free. Right? We can just live and learn. Because I happen to believe every moment has its own thing you should do, right? Its own right or wrong, quote unquote. And the moment will guide you, right? One can say it's not good to murder, but one may murder out of self-defense. So, which one's right? Which one's wrong? I don't believe in the right and wrong thing. I used to for a long time, but I realized that this is just for me. And I can be wrong about this, y'all. Think for yourself, y'all. But it's only brought me conflict because I'm judging. When I think something's wrong, I feel bad. When I think something's right, I feel good. And that's a constant conflict. But I prefer to work on letting that go, all of it go. Just whatever. You know what I mean? And you really will start to see how to move, how to live. Interesting stuff. Let me check here, make sure we got all those. I think that we're good. Let me just check one more thing, and then I got something else for y'all. Lines are open, y'all. 888-775-3773. Hop in there if you like. Gregortron on Buy Me a Coffee says, and he buys me a donut. Thank you, Greg. Says, Joel, I know what that lady caller from yesterday meant. You're like my brother, too. You say stuff and articulate stuff in such a way. Far better than I can say it. You're like my spirit animal. Right on, Greg. I ain't no animal. Nah, I'm playing. But I know what you mean, man. 100%. And I appreciate that. And right on. That makes sense. And I'm learning too myself. And it's just the spirit working, man. The words being given and unfolding live on air with y'all. Honestly. So I appreciate it, Greg. And thanks for always supporting the show and watching. Appreciate it. All right. Let's get to this next thing real quick. Because I have something else I want to show. It's a little change. It's a little different direction, but it still fits with the theme. You know what I mean? is I was watching on the JLP show this morning, Jesse Lee Peterson show. Jesse Lee Peterson played a clip on MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. I thought it was very interesting. Very interesting stuff. And I kind of want to speak on that. I had some opinion on it as well. And I have this clip I want to play here really quick. We're going to get to it. And Martin Luther King talks about the unfairness of slavery and black people. I've never heard this before. And I thought it was really interesting. And I kind of want to play that. So here is that from CBS News, as well as X. Here we go.
What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, there's so many perspectives on slavery that people have. There's so many perspectives on what happened after slavery when they were freed by Abraham Lincoln, like he was saying. There's so many different perspectives on how slaves contributed to America, and how the whites didn't give them anything after. So many different things, right? And you do your research for yourself to find out what's true and come to your own conclusions, right? But let's just entertain that everything that he's saying is true. Let's just entertain it as factually true, right? If when the slaves were freed, they were not given an economic base, which is basically money, right, to start their own lives, to build their own communities, and they were given nothing, right? They were just set free. The gates were open. They were just free, and they had to go do their own thing, right? But he also says that while also in America, other people were given an economic base from other places, and they were given like resources and stuff to start communities and build land, right? Let's just say that that's true. I still do not agree with the idea that anybody is a victim, right? That's not fair, right? Because that's always the talking point in the black community, right? And really with all people, to be honest. This victim card that all people play in some way or another. Women play with the R word, right? With the rape. Women like to play the victim card. I'm not saying everybody is lying. There are some people who get involved in that, and it's unfortunate, right? But victim card can be played in any race and both genders. But I don't like the idea that the talking point of that when you say that slaves were freed and they have never since the beginning of time given a fair hand at life. Listen, that, of course, it's unfortunate if, let's just say you're a slave and you're released and you just got nothing. Of course, that's unfortunate, right? That could be unfortunate, right? But life ain't fair. Life ain't fair to nobody, right? It ain't supposed to be fair. It ain't supposed to be nice. It ain't supposed to be cute. The thing that my issue is that, like, when you say that because of that is why blacks aren't the way they are now, and then there's this stigma of black people being the color black, and all these stigmas and all this unfair treatment is the reason why blacks can't do anything today, is an excuse to me. Because what you're actually saying is that you don't really believe in God. That's what you're really saying. You don't believe that you can overcome all things, right? And God can lead you to all things. And God can change your life. And God can start something new for you. And God can lead you in the right direction. You're actually saying the exact opposite. You're saying that life is not fair because the devil took all things from me, right? The devil took all things from me. The devil didn't give me a fair play. The devil left me in the streets. The devil changed the stigma. And because the devil did that, I'm out of luck. You really actually believe in the devil more than you believe in God. Because you let the devil tell you that you can't be nothing now. That you didn't get a fair hand. Life ain't fair. You, everybody else got money. You ain't get the money. You didn't ask to be here and you're here and now you have to fend for yourself. No, it's that okay, that's the reality. Boom. That's the reality. Dang, we don't got nothing. This sucks, right? We're hungry. I understand. But then you face that and then you figure out what's next. What do we do from here then? Right? What do we do now? We can't cry about it. We got to eat, right? We got to eat. We got to find a way to feed our family. What do we do? Then you cry out to God, right? I don't understand why people don't do this. Even people who got stuff don't do this. Cry out to God. God, what do I do next? Lead me. Show me the way. What do I do? And guess what he does? He shows you the way. He shows you the way. If you really want to know, he will show you the way. But when he tells you what to do and you reject it, don't be mad. You know what I mean? When he tells you what to do and you reject it, maybe because you like to play victim, maybe because you like to have a handout, maybe because you like to see yourself crying in the mirror, whatever it may be, then don't be mad. But if you're truly trying to overcome, like a lot of blacks have done in America, right? Then you can do the same. All right? You just do what's in front of you. You do the next step. You find a way. You figure it out, and God will lead and guide you. Why wouldn't he? It doesn't make sense. If you're relying on him like he says to do it, why wouldn't you try it and see if that works? But no, it's not what people want to do. And black people have it bad. Is they rather be mad about it. They rather be sad about it. They rather complain about it. They rather point about it. They rather blame the white man about it. Blame slavery about it. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even want that to even be discussed anymore. The slavery thing. Like, I wouldn't even want that to be discussed anymore. Obviously, we have freedom of speech. Obviously, blah, blah, blah. But, like, the people today who were not there act like they were there. You know what I mean? And that's just not a good mindset. And that's why people don't get to where they need to go, is because they have that mindset that you owe me something. You know what I mean? So I just don't agree with MLK on that thing. He may have some factual things right about what happened back then, right? But that's not an excuse. Make it work. Ye of little faith. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get into that with Martin Luther King. And then the other thing is the Holocaust thing too. Just stop it. But I don't hear a lot of Jews complaining as much as I hear about blacks complaining about slavery. In my own life, right? Like with my lens, I don't hear a lot of Jewish people talking about the Holocaust as much as I hear about black people talking about slavery. On Hollywood Boulevard, you hear Hebrew Israelites talking about openly on a megaphone, talking about how the white man is the devil as white people are walking by, right? Carelessly. I don't see that necessarily in the Jewish parts of Los Angeles. Maybe they got some stuff going on behind the scenes. That's up for another conversation. Because they tend to all vote liberally. You look at the polls, the Jews mostly, I'm talking about mostly, vote Democrat. Which is weird because their neighborhoods are clean, they're family oriented. You know what I mean? Like they have money. So it's interesting to see that. But I just don't hear them complaining as much. But still, even those that do, what the? I just never understood it. You ain't your people. You ain't your culture. You ain't your community. You ain't your color. Nothing. It's not who you are. It's not your identity. What a mess, huh? Interesting stuff. Let me see here. I am going to end soon because I want to make sure that I get in the habit of ending on time. As you guys know. But I am going to do that in a sec here. But I just want to say lastly, really quick, is I think the most important thing we can do, in my opinion, is just focus on you. Focus on you and do what's in front of you to do, but be free and live. Just be free. It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if you do this or that. It's not that even big of a deal. It really isn't. It's not that big of a deal, right? Just be aware of it and be honest about it. Yeah, I'm tripping, man. I did that. I know. Yep. Right? Because it's really not the real you wanting to do that, right? You just caught up in your minds, caught up in your feelings. But you just be honest, like, yeah, I know. That's it. That's enough. And you learn through it. You just learn. Pay attention. You learn why these things aren't beneficial to your life. I'm telling you, that's the best way, the best thing you can do for your life, which is helping me, is you understand why you shouldn't do it. Not because the Bible said it, not because the pastor said it, not because the world said it. See for yourself why you should not do this, why you should not do that. And a lot of the things that you think you shouldn't do aren't even that bad, really. They're not sins. They're not demonic. They're not even that bad. And in some situations are okay. Don't judge anything. And I'm learning this in my own life, how to overcome judgment. Oh my God. Judgment is the ruler of all evil. But we've been conditioned from birth to judge everything. Everything got to be right. Everything got to be wrong. That's how we're taught to judge. The knowledge of good and evil. We don't know good and evil. The moment guides us to see what is good and evil, right? But once that moment passes, you can no longer judge the last moment as good or evil. You can't do it because the moment is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. You don't know. And now you can't carry that to your next situation. All we have is a moment, y'all. That's it. Just a moment. And a moment will guide us where to go. Everything else is a judgment. And it's a lie because you're judging it. So that's it, y'all. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Grace and Mercy Mondays. We get into the word on Mondays. We get into that word. Tomorrow we got true crime story time. We getting into some stuff. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow if you want to get into some true crime stuff. Some of that stuff. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate you guys tuning in here on the platforms that I'm on. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys in the chats as well. Thank you. I'll be back here tomorrow with another episode. Some more mess. Amazing stuff. Until next time, y'all, I appreciate you. And I'll catch you on the flip. Bye. Oh! I'm still up there. Hold up.